Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio on a Friday morning. So unfortunate news yesterday. Arguably one of soccer's greatest players of all time. Definitely one of the ones that actually got the world into the sport. Pele passed away at the age of 82.
Yeah, and it's not very often that during our lifetime you run into individuals who can be the person of the sport. Muhammad Ali, I think you could classify him as maybe the individual who brought boxing really back into the realm of things. Babe Ruth in baseball, I think he got them out of the Black Sox scandal in the 1920, I think it was, and then came around and brought the sport back to a sense of well-being. Michael Jordan, in some respects in basketball, although there were plenty before him, Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, people of that caliber. But in soccer, I think it's fair to say that Edson Arantes de Nascimento, that is Pele's real name, was the individual who brought it worldwide. He played for 3 World Cup champions, and that's in and of itself just utterly spectacular. He was a kid from a poor family in Brazil, but he had blessed with great athletic skill. Came up to this country, played, I've forgotten what the New York soccer team had, the Cosmos, I think is what they were called, in 1975. Filled Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, for his matches there. Just an iconic figure, and a guy who portrayed himself and comported himself very well in public. It's a shame, 82 years old, not unexpected. He'd been ill for quite some time, but Pele passing from the scene at, as you mentioned, the age of 82 yesterday.
It's unfortunate, but man, what an incredible life, and he will not be forgotten, I'll tell you that right now. Lady Bears had a match yesterday on the court. How'd they make out?
They won. Beat Indiana State in a scrap, and the final was 71-62, but it was a struggle all the way. Lady Bears are pretty good. They are certainly one of the top teams in the Missouri Valley Conference and are playing very well. They shoot the ball well. Have another road game coming up tomorrow. They'll play Evansville in Evansville, then come home for a series of games. But nice win for the Lady Bears. Beat the Lady Sycamores. It's the final 71-62.
Got some incredible college football games coming up tomorrow. First off, my Wildcats battling the Crimson Tide at 11. That should be a hell of a matchup. Hopefully my guys can pull it out. I hope. But then after that, the college football playoffs start up in the mid-afternoon.
Yeah, there's several others, too, along with the Sugar Bowl game, which is a noontime. It used to be at night, but it'll be a noontime game this year. And it is Alabama-Kansas State, and they play in New Orleans at the calling now the Mercedes Superdome, whatever it is. Alabama is about a 6.5-point favorite going to that one. It will be a very good game. Kansas State, Chris Kleiman's done a great job with that team. Former assistant coach down here back about 20 years ago, and love to see him do well. You are playing Nick Saban's team, and while they aren't playing for a national championship this year, they are still Alabama. Watch out, Alabama 6.5-point favorite. Then you have the 2 semifinals coming up tomorrow. One is the Fiesta Bowl out in Glendale, Arizona, which is really part of Phoenix, and they'll play where the Arizona Cardinals play. It will be an interesting little matchup in this one because you really don't know. Michigan is a 7.5-point favorite over TCU. TCU's had a great year. They're a great year. Max Duggan, their quarterback, terrific player. Coach Sonny Dykes is the National Coach of the Year. They're playing Michigan. In Michigan's Big Ten Conference, you don't go into Columbus, Ohio, and run Ohio State out of their own ballpark in a tradition match game unless you're pretty good, and Michigan is pretty good. So is TCU, but Michigan is a 7.5-point favorite, and they will be tough to beat. That second game is the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, which is also a Mercedes. Boy, Mercedes is owning all these domes here. What do you guess? When are we going to?
People seem to like their cars.
You have to think the cars are pretty good, aren't they? Anyway, they're playing the Peach Bowl in Atlanta. That is Georgia, the defending national champion, playing Ohio State. Georgia's 6.5-point favorite. That may be a tremendous football game. I give Ohio State I'm not going to say a good chance, but a chance of knocking off Georgia in this one, and then having perhaps a Michigan-Ohio State rematch. Could happen. Don't think it will, but it's possible.
A lot of great football games on Saturday. So Blue and Gold tournament happening. Who were the winners yesterday?
How about this? Nixa and Republic. These are two of the most tradition-bound teams in the entire Ozarks region. and they both win the titles, the blue and the gold division, and that's great. It's the way it should be. Nixa is a really, really good team. They ran a good Logan Rogersville team out of the ballpark last night, 59-38. Nixa can really shoot. Now, the Republic team had a scrappy Sparta bunch and beat them, but it was a struggle all the way. Republic wins 51-46 was the final. Republic Tigers get the win. So it is Republic and Nixa. They are the blue and gold champions for this year, for the end of 2022.
Pretty good stuff. Incredible competition. Now, speaking of incredible competitions, last night's final regular season Thursday night football game on paper didn't really seem like it was going to be that way, but then, God, by the end of the first half, it was only a difference of, 4 points or something, and I'm thinking, who's this guy playing quarterback for Tennessee, and the Cowboys can't put this thing away? What the hell's going on?
The Cowboys finally did put it away, 27-13, but it was not a vintage performance by Dallas against an injury-riddled, my God, poor Tennessee Titans. I don't even know who those guys are.
Like I said, I was like, who's this dude?
They're a fragmented team, very much the way Las Vegas will be when the Chiefs play them next week out in Nevada. But over and above all that, the Dallas Cowboys get the win. Not going to help them any because Philadelphia is probably going to beat New Orleans on Sunday. Over and above all of that, the Cowboys, in my opinion, did not look very good. A lot of errors by Dak Prescott, and this is a team that needs to come on. If they're going to be in the playoffs, and I think they will be, they've got to get their game in order. Still, Dallas gets the win, 27-13 over the Titans.
It's one of those dangerous teams that when things aren't working, you kind of underestimate them, and then all of a sudden, bam, they smack you in the face.
Yeah,
So
I'll tell you who the dangerous team is in all the playoffs who nobody wants to play is the Chargers. They can do an awful lot of things. I don't know who they're going to play, probably a wild card team somewhere along the line. They may themselves be a wild card team, but they'll be tough to handle.
we'll see. They always are, especially in the AFC West. Speaking of which, the Kansas City Chiefs have a AFC West showdown with the Broncos, their final regular season home game before they go to Las Vegas next week. Weather's looking good. Denver Broncos, not so much.
No, they have their problems. And, of course, we'll hear the game on the Cave, and as all the Chiefs are. And our broadcast plans are pretty good. We will have the usual. It's a Sunday noontime game for Kansas City. And the broadcast here on the Cave will start at 10 o'clock.
Ned Talk, your live local pregame show, will also be at Coyote Sports Bar in South Glenstone with our teardrop trailer. You can qualify to win that baby. And stick around for the game if you can't be at Arrowhead. Next best place, Arrowhead South, and you can listen to the game. Sync it up with your TV from 104.7 The Cave.
Why not? What better way is there?
Happy New Year, sir.
And to you, sir.
And I will see you next year.